How's that? All right. So with over 100 fights, have you ever been ripped off by a promoter?
Let's see. I got about 170 fights, and I've been ripped off by promoters in maybe 150 of them. No, I mean,
was Jeff Osborne a part of that?
No. Jeff always treated me really, really well.
Yeah, I love that
his
guy.
choice of hotels wasn't always the greatest. But you know, Jeff was a pioneer in the early days, trying to make it work. And he always, as far as I'm concerned, he always treated all the fighters really well. You know, he was one of the good guys, tried to do things the right way, treated people fairly, treated people honestly. Yeah, so I mean, I got nothing to complain about. But no,
I agree, 100%.
Overall, I really had a good relationship with most of the promoters I fought for. I mean, at the end of the day, honestly, if you do your homework, which really it wasn't very possible back then, but if you know who you're fighting and you know what he's all about and you accept the money that they offer for that fight, you can't claim you got ripped off. You know,
so 2,500 for Frank was right on.
Well, you know, it's what I accepted. I was happy. Obviously, looking back, I realized I should have gotten a lot more, but I can't complain. I accepted it. You know, reading like Randy Couture's book and knowing that, you know, he fought in the UFC, I don't know, a year later and got like 50 grand or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I should have got more, but you know, I'm not one to cry sour grapes, man. I agreed to it.
You gotta have some story where somebody didn't pay you. Come on, you folks.
Were you on that fight with Ed Kim, or were you there? I know a lot of the guys from Monty's. You weren't on that card, were you?
Well, with which fight?
Ed Kim, the guy in Chicago. He put on a big fight and ripped everybody off. I know a lot of Monty's guys.
That doesn't sound familiar. I don't think I was. I didn't get ripped off. Well, no, I take that back. I do have one story about getting ripped off, but the IFC guys, Howard Petchler, he and that crowd jerked me around a little bit. I ended up getting my money, but so I got paid. They wrote me a check after the fight, and they wrote it for the wrong amount. So rather than just tearing it up and writing a new check, he kind of scribbled over the amount and tried to rewrite it. And so then I come back to the US and I've got a Canadian check that's scribbled out and written over it. Yeah. Took me forever to get paid. They eventually did pay me, but it took a while to get it done. So, but no, there was one guy that I did get screwed over for. I fought for an organization called 5150 Combat. I want to say it was in Illinois, somewhere east, Midwest, something like that. And I ended up fighting, I think I was the main event. And I was supposed to get like, I don't know, nothing spectacular. It was like 10 grand or something like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's decent pay for the time. And they ended up obviously not selling any tickets. The show was a flop. So they had no money to pay anybody. And so they ended up calling in their bond to get it. But the bond was only for like 10 grand. And they had to spread that out among all of the fighters on the fight card. So they owed me like 10 grand, and I think I ended up getting like $1,500 out of it. Ooh. So, yeah.
Wow.
Well, luckily I got a win out of it. So I mean, it's not, you know, at least I got a win. I didn't get beat and got screwed, but yeah.